It's just bad, man. They needed a win last night so bad. And credit the guys that were out there, because that's the part that really frustrates me. That was a really fun game that I wanted really bad. And I want to sit here and talk about the last 4 minutes of execution and how Chris Paul, you brought him in to execute late in games, and he didn't execute late in that game and had multiple turnovers and just poor decisions. And I'm sure he'd be the first to admit that. It's frustrating to lose the game that way. But again, you need Draymond to be on the floor to help you. You're not paying the guy $100 million to be an enforcer. Like that. Adonis Haslam was on the Miami Heat for the last 6 years making the league minimum because he was an enforcer. I'd pay you $25 million a year to play basketball, to play elite defense, to
play at an all-star level. To play at an all-star level. What's Joe Lacob thinking in his courtside seat when Saturday night? It's not only that he got ejected, but again, he ran around the court WWE style, charging up the crowd.
Again.
Like it's just... Chris Paul's looking around like, what the hell is going on here?
Did you see Chris Paul's face? Chris Paul is sitting there going like, That's literally what he did. I saw the face. And I'm saying, of course Chris Paul's frustrated because Chris Paul wants to play basketball.
Right. Now listen to the two coaches here before we get back out to the lines. Jose in Oakland, you're on deck. Hang tight there, Jose. Let's play Chris Finch first from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Here's what he had to say after the game about everything that happened in the first minute, 43 seconds of the basketball game. Go ahead, Spinall.
I mean, I didn't see a ton of it, to be honest with you. I looked down. I saw Rudy in a chokehold. I saw both Clay and Jaden wrapped up with each other. I didn't see how any of it started until I looked at the film. But it was right from the jump. They were putting their hands on us, and it got physical right away. And I thought the referees did a really good job of cleaning it up. I thought, the suspensions, or the ejections rather, were the right ones. Thought they were warranted. I thought they did a good job of getting control of the game from that point of view. I mean, it became very physical, but it wasn't a dangerous and out of control game from their point of view. So,
before you play the curse sound, that coach last night coached that game brilliantly in the fourth quarter. He challenged a play on the Anthony Edwards. I don't know if it was Pods. Somebody was moving to the side, challenged it. He gets the free throw. He called multiple timeouts that were timely to set up their offense or to sub out a defensive player.
They were up 99-98 when he called a timeout just to settle things down.
He was really good.
Yeah, no, Finch is a very good coach.
He's a really good coach.
He's a very good coach.
I'm very impressed with him.
No, he called a timeout. It was 99-98.
So you
stopped the time. Yeah, no, Millie and I were talking about it in real time. It's like, that's a smart timeout just to settle things down.
He has good feel for the game.
No doubt about it. No doubt.
And he did a good job because there was at one point where they had Cat and Anthony Edwards out, and then boom, he put Cat back in, and Cat started cooking, and he was chirping, hitting threes. That big offensive rebound that they couldn't land, and then they swung it around, and Cat hit the big three. That ultimately was the game.
They went on an 8-0 run. Warriors are up, and Minnesota goes up 104-98 after the Conley three. It was just a timely three, knocked it down, actually made it 102-98, excuse me. A nice little 8-0 run for the T-Wolves there to end that basketball game. But the Conley play sitting there right in the weak side. You saw it coming a mile away. Anthony Edwards made the defense, forced the defense to collapse. You had to honor Karl Anthony Towns. Conley's wide open. See, I would have doubled off of Kyle Anderson. I would have made slow-mo the guy. Hey, make him make a play in that situation. Anybody but Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, or try to make it a two-man game with Kyle Anderson and Rudy Gobert because he was on the floor as well.
I want to get right back into the Draymond thing.
Well, we got the Steve Kerr sound. Let's play Steve Kerr real quick. After hearing from Chris Finch, let's get to Steve Kerr after the game.
There's no way Klay Thompson should have been thrown out of the game. I mean, he's running up the floor, and the guy grabs his jersey, and he's pulling on him, and so Klay pulls back, and no way Klay should have been ejected. That was ridiculous. So I was upset about that. And then the Draymond piece of it, if you watch the replay, Rudy had his hands on Klay's neck, and that's why Draymond went after Rudy. And I saw one replay right after it happened. Guys on the back of the bench were telling us Rudy had Draymond, or had Klay, and that's why Draymond went at Rudy. So that's all I know. But it was a bizarre way to start the game a minute and a half in.
Yes, it was bizarre. It's the first time in the NBA merger where three players have been kicked out of a basketball game before either team scored.
That's insane.
And by the way, Steph Curry didn't play. He's day-to-day with right knee sprain. They're calling it a right knee sprain. He is day-to-day. Steve Kerr mentioned that last night, so that's good news. Good news is Podziemski balled out, Sarge balled out. You saw some good minutes from Moody. You saw some positive minutes from Chris Paul and Curry's day-to-day. So there's not a long-term D. Actually, that's not good news. It's great news. great news.
Considering what the alternatives are, yeah, I would agree. Curry looked like he was wearing a 1970s bowling outfit last night. I didn't understand the outfit. Yeah, I don't understand style.
He had that Uncle Jerome at the barbecue fit on. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
He had that Uncle outfit. Yeah,
I thought it was a bowling shirt.
Yeah, I didn't know. Not his best fits, but you know what? Steph Curry, he can do whatever he wants.
Like one thing that to me is very clear over 12 games is that they have one superstar and then no other star. Now, we could say, like, oh, Clay and Dre are stars. They're currently not stars. Like, there's levels to this. We could talk about, like, they have stardom, they have fame, but they aren't playing like quote-unquote stars. I look over at Minnesota. I don't know if Anthony Edwards is currently a superstar. I put him in the star category, rising one day to become a superstar. And Cat, although not a superstar, is also a star. They have two. And I look at the Warriors, and you don't have your superstar last night. Everyone needs to be ready to go to play. And so, like, you can ill afford to lose either of those guys, given the circumstances. You lost both of them, and then everybody else elevates their play and tries as hard as they possibly can to win that game, and you still fall short. And I was so dissatisfied at the way that one ended.
And you know what? Quicker, longer, athletic teams are giving the Warriors issues. Let's go to Jose in Oakland.
Is legit.
Jose in Oakland. They've won 7 in a row, 8-2 on the season. Minnesota is legit. Jose in Oakland. Jose in Oakland, what's happening?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Look, Draymond was in a lose-lose situation, okay? Granted, we all know the aftermath of the scuffle and him getting involved, but had he stayed on the bench and just watched the whole scene, ESPN would be, talking nonstop about Draymond Green being a fake tough guy, okay? One that is tough enough to take on Jordan Poole, but he would, that guy that would chicken out, he had to go against Rudy Gobert. And after all the stuff that he said about Rudy, he had to back it up. So we all understand. I mean, we know that at the end of the day, he did damage the team's chances of winning the game, but he had to get in there. And I don't think he even thought about it. That's just who he is, and unfortunately, we have to live with it.
Jose, are we supposed to we got to live with it. So thanks for the call, Jose. That's what I want to know. Warrior fans, are you willing to live with this, not only this season, just 3 more years on the contract? All right? Are you willing to live with this? If you know, like, right now, this is not a championship team. This is just not, if we're going to talk final, let's just talk playoffs. Let's get to the playoffs first.
But that's my point. They are a superstar team with no second star.
Right, no second star. You need, kind of need 2 stars in the league.
We're a 43-win team, dude.
Well, you know what? Nick in San Jose might not be wrong about that. No, sorry, Nick. So, are we willing to live with this? You can say Draymond Green was in the right. All I'm saying is the bottom line, he's been kicked out of 2 of the last 3 games.
Come on.
All right? 2 of the last 3 games. And he started barking at Anthony Edwards on Sunday. These young fellas ain't scared of Draymond Green no more. That day is gone. It's over. In terms of that, the fear factor the Warriors used to have, it's gone. We got to somehow recapture it. And I don't know if we have the personnel to do that. Well, not right now. They've lost 4 in a row, 3 straight at home. And so, look, I got no problem with Draymond Green having Clay's back. But just look at the situation, folks. Just open up your mind just a little bit. All right? The optics and the reputation of Draymond Green. Of course he was going to get kicked out. And look how far.
Does anyone think he should be kicked out?
Yes, there's a lot of people who didn't think he should be kicked out. So,
what sport are they watching?
So, you know what? 3 more years of Draymond Green plus this season. I just, that's who he is. He's never going to change. And so I guess we do have to live with it.
Here's the concession. And you and I we talked about it all last year, and now we're here again. And I think last year people were in denial, and we'll see where people are at. You can't have it both ways. You can't have Dre and Clay and Steph ride it out together, all together, making a lot of money till the very end, and still win championships. It's either or. Either you're willing to break it up to try to continue to win championship because this isn't good enough.
Yep.
And people aren't willing to accept that.
So I got no problem with Draymond Green having Clay's back. But I needed Draymond Green in that basketball
That's
game.
what I'm saying.
Karl-Anthony Towns was cooking. Draymond Green does a good job on Karl-Anthony Towns. I needed him in that basketball game. Just cannot get kicked out of there. And you had to know, you're Draymond Green. You have a bullseye on your back now. You do. The league is looking at you. Referees, no, before the game, the scouting report, okay, we're refereeing a Warriors game. Okay, number 23. We know what's happening. The referees let Draymond Green get away with a lot of stuff. They do. You're at the game. You saw the game Saturday night. Draymond Green be barking.
It was bad.
Draymond Green be punking refs.
Well, and at some point, we got to stop and say, like, it's Jordan Poole's fault. It's Gobert's fault.
What? Let me say
it's
something.
Steven Adams' fault. I mean, there's a common denominator. Look, Gobert is not the victim. I want to make that clear. He's not the victim. It goes both ways in every one of these situations. But there is a common denominator every time the Warriors have some issue.
There's some people so jaded in this market. We cannot stop talking about Jordan Poole to say, let Jordan Poole's in D.C. He's gone now. All right? He's no longer our issue, no longer our worry. But let's not get it twisted. Somebody punches you in the jaw, and Jordan Poole's reputation is shot now because of the punch. Whether we like it or not, he has to live with that every day of his life. People are trash talking him. Oh, man, don't let me. I do you like Draymond. You don't think he hears that in the basketball game? He is shook because of that punch. So I'm tired of Warrior fans and media members here in this market talking about Jordan Poole.
Well, they're taking a dump on a young man. And let's stop. Can we just stop taking dumps on young players, young people?
Well, especially when people aren't informed about what happened in that situation.
Well, I'm not informed, but about
what happened to Trady Kidd.
I feel like we go over the top. I look at Draymond, I'm like, dude, you're 33. You bring your son to the games, and it's awesome. We all love seeing you be a father and bring your sons to the game. You're supposed to get a little more mature and a little more wise and be a little more thoughtful when you're getting paid for leadership qualities. Because part of what you pay Draymond for isn't just X's and O's and statistics. There's leadership intangibles that go along with it. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Your team needs you. There's no Steph Curry. We're in the midst, before the game ended, of a 3-game losing streak. I get it. You want to defend Klay Thompson. No one is going to murph out Klay Thompson at half court.
Yeah.
We act like it's life and death.
It's Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is a teddy bear.
Well, Gobert's wrong too.
He's wrong, but he wasn't going to do. He wasn't going to do anything.
You know, and this thing, like he shouldn't have put his hands on Klay. But two wrongs don't make a right, and both guys were wrong in this situation. I'm just kind of I get exhausted hearing all of the justifications for what most people would say. If that was another player on another team, that guy's a bonehead. That's what you'd say. That's what you'd say about Draymond Green. He does a lot of antics, and he's a bonehead. He does do some good, but, man, he does a lot of bonehead things that actually
I'm not going to call him boneheaded. I think he's a smart player, but he does has some questionable acts. But I don't want to call him a dummy here. That's not fair, man. The guy's an intelligent human being. I'm not going to go that far.
But you can say that the decision-making is boneheadish.
Right. It's a bonehead.
It has repercussions.
I don't want to call him a bonehead, though. But listen, there was something. I need to find a Rudy Gobert quote because Rudy Gobert talked last night after the game. Oh, here's what he said. Rudy Gobert, via John Krasinski. John Krasinski of The Athletic covers the Minnesota Timberwolves. Rudy Gobert after the game. Every time Steph doesn't play, he doesn't want to play without his guy, Steph. So he does anything he can to get ejected. He does anything he can to get ejected. That's Rudy Gobert. Said his chokehold was clown behavior. It was a clown choke. So that's Rudy Gobert clapping back at Draymond Green. Let's go.